Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing out there today? Okay, wait a minute. Now, if y'all hear me, and I know that you do, please show me some love over there in the chat. Say good morning. Say it back. That's rude. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see some good mornings. There y'all go. How y'all doing? Y'all feeling good? Oh my goodness. I don't know about y'all, but I am absolutely a morning person. So for those of you that are out there that still got to remove that little crust out the corner of your eyes, come on, let's get it together today. Let's get it together today. Good morning, Gavin. Good evening, South Africa, man. You're on a whole different spectrum, man. We appreciate everybody for being in here today. I understand the assignment, and let me start off by saying that I understand the assignment. It is so important that our students understand who they are and the power that they carry. Oftentimes, the reason why we end up on roads that we didn't intend to travel is because we're not recognizing the power that we carry within. The reason why we make the choices that we make is because we don't recognize who we are, why we are, and what we are. You understand what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying, go ahead and show me some love over in the chat. If you understand what I'm saying, when I'm talking about power, now I'm going to bring it back a little bit. I'm talking about the power of your authenticity. Today, I'm going to help you to tap into who you are and learn how to celebrate who you are and not to throw that off in a package somewhere, bury it in a box, or try to pretend to be something else. Why? Because you're uniquely made on purpose with a purpose. And so today, as you begin to think about this school year, as you begin to think about what's coming next, I want you to remember that it is absolutely imperative that you not focus on the things of old. Some of you may be sitting there and you're thinking about the fact that, man, I really screwed it up last year. Oh, I messed it up last year. But listen, the great thing about the up and coming school year is that you get a chance to do it all over again. Come on, y'all. You get a chance to do it all over again. You don't have to allow for the things of last year to define what this year is going to look like. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. You get a chance to be motivated, uplifted, and you get a chance to influence those that are around you. So without further ado, I'm going to simply share my screen real fast here, and we're going to get into the presentation, if that's all right with y'all. Give me just 1 second. And all righty. Shall we get rolling this morning, y'all? Y'all tell me, come on. In the chat, I need to hear it. Roll on. Roll on. Let's go. All right. So you heard a little bit about who I am, but hold on 1 second because I have a screen that doesn't want to click. All right, here we go. All right. So we did the rundown of who I am. Some of you may not know who I am, but we've already been given a description. But one thing he did not mention is the fact that I'm a mother of 5 sons. I'm a mother of 5 sons. And what that tells you is that I've put a whole lot of babies through school. I've been the mom, but I've also been the student. I've been the one who's been the role model, but I've also been the student. I've been the one who's been in leadership roles, but I've always been the student. And so here, what I really want you to resonate with is the fact that you will always be learning. Learning is unending. The expansion of the mind is unending. You will always be learning something new. And I want you to get into the habit of enjoying it. Enjoy learning because learning is where it's at. Expansion is where it's at. If you're going to keep up with the trends, all the things that's happening in the market, you have to know how to shift your perspective. You have to know how to lead out with innovative thoughts and creativity. And you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because see, the world does not get into cookie cutter. The world is uninterested in you being a knockoff version of somebody else. The world wants what you have. And guess what? I'm here to tell you that only you have it. And so I want to unleash the power that's on the inside of you because you know what? Y'all out there and y'all brilliant, but y'all won't call it that. Y'all out there and you're amazing and you won't call it that. You're out there and you're changing the world, but you won't call it that because you haven't stepped into the confidence of who you are. But by the time I get done with you today, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. So let's roll. I'm going to tell you a little bit today. We're only going to spend like about 20, 25 minutes together, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. And you're going to learn the exact meaning of normative conformity. I'm also going to talk to you about your authenticity to figure out whether or not you're living by default or whether or not you're living by design. I know that some of you are pondering right now, what does that mean? So if you're out there and you're listening, put in the chat for me, do you think that you're living by default or are you living by design? Answer that question for me. We're also going to talk about the power that it's going to take for you to be a better student this year. Because in this forum right here, we're building better students. We want you to be better. Because you know what? You are our future. And I know you hear it all the time. I know you hear it all the time. It almost sounds cliche. But the truth is, it's the absolute truth. The world will not progress without you. The world can't be better without you. Your input, your brilliance, the world needs it. We're betting on you to make it. But the biggest notion and what you need to understand is that we're all here today because of you. We're all here today because it takes a village. One of the most valuable lessons that I learned on my road to destiny was the fact that you don't arrive alone. You can be the strongest individual in the world, but listen, you can't do this on your own. It absolutely takes a village. There are resources, there are supports that are around you that can help you to be able to stay the course. I don't know about you, but I had some moments in my life where I not only fell off the wagon, but I fell underneath the wagon, rolled over a couple times, and chilled, had a sandwich or two while I was under the wagon. I wasn't trying to come out from under the wagon. I'll just put it out there. You want to talk about school? Been there, done that. But also failed a couple times, got back up, did it again. The thing is to never quit. Never give up. You just got to try and keep trying until it works. Most things that are inventive in this world today were not created overnight. There was a number of failures that took place before something actually worked. So don't look at your failures or your letdowns or your setbacks as a means to give up. You got to keep pressing. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep pulling. You got to keep going. So let me help you understand. Your uniqueness is your superpower. And if I'm going to ask you anything else throughout this entire conversation, is don't dim your light to fit in. You were uniquely made on purpose with a purpose. On purpose with a purpose. Somebody say it for me over there in the chat. Say, I have purpose. I have purpose. Your uniqueness is your superpower. Stop trying to pretend to be somebody else when you're brilliant in your own light. You're brilliant in your own light. You bring a thought to the table that no one else is thinking of. You're absolutely amazing. And I need you to step fully into that power. Now, to share with you on today, it was a long road to get here. A long road.
Let it be here.
When I say a long road, I'm talking about normative conformity. Now, put your hands up in the chat there if you know what normative conformity means. Do you know what normative conformity means? I'm going to check over here because I want to see what y'all got to say. Does anybody know what normative conformity means? Never heard of it. Gotcha. Well, don't worry. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fill you in on today. Normative conformity is when you step into a space and you don't feel like you have a sense of belonging. It's where you're willing to take on the identity of others in order to fulfill an identity within yourself because you don't know who you are. And I had a bad case of this. You see, I grew up in Yazoo City, Mississippi, which is a little old bitty rural town, about 11,000 people as a population. And the thing is that it was dirt poor. I mean, the economy was in completely disparity. And so I grew up in a city where everybody looked like me, and I was the majority and not the minority. Fast forward until I became 10 years old, my mother, who was escaping an abusive, bad relationship, moved us all to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Now you can imagine the type of demographic change that was. And so what happened was is I ended up going to schools where 98% of the people did not look like me. And so therefore it led me to believe that there was something wrong with me. It led me to believe that there was something wrong with my identity. Like I was missing something, I was lacking something. And so this actually activated a feeling of fear. Because how do I show up on purpose, with purpose, if I don't even know who I am? And if everybody around me is telling me there's something weird or off or awkward about me, or back then they called it cooties, people wouldn't even sit at the table with me because I looked different than them. I spent a great majority of my childhood in isolation for people rejecting who I simply was, who I was born into the world as. The other flip side of that thing was I was super smart. I was a nerd. I was the one with the big old purple glasses and understood things but never spoke on it. Because what if I opened up my mouth and they discovered that I was smart? And so I used to be able to like pull myself back thinking that, oh no, I don't want anybody to know who I really am. And so what I did, the conformity portion of it, is I began to talk like them, act like them. I picked up their mannerisms, dress like them, wear my hair like them. I did everything in my power that I could to stand out. But I was shattering my esteem. I was killing my self-confidence, trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be instead of who I am. And so that's where the challenge is going to come in at for you guys. You've got to get into the place where you embrace your authenticity. And you're not going to be able to do that alone. There's going to be resources. There's going to be forums like these. There's going to be different things that you're going to be able to tap into throughout this up and coming school year that's going to be able to help you to hold on to who you are. And don't you let anybody take away from you the essence of who you are, because that is what makes you special. That is what sets you apart. And the reason why people come so heavy to try to keep you from becoming is because they're afraid of who you are. Your brilliance is too loud. You're far too important. And so they want to keep you in a space where they can control your outcome. And that's a dangerous place to be. You don't want to give anyone that type of power over you. So today I'm going to restore your power. My clicky's not clicking. Okay, hold on one second. So today, we talked about earlier living by default or design. And if you haven't checked it out, throughout the course of the presentation, there's going to be QR codes that are on the screen. I myself have done a TEDx talk on the topic of authenticity, and I have been deemed an authenticity expert in my field. And what that talks about is you knowing exactly who you are and being able to celebrate who you are unapologetically. Otherwise, we're not handing out apologies for being who we are. We celebrate over here. Somebody put that in the chat. We celebrate over here. We celebrate who we are over here. We're not letting people push us into boxes. We're not letting people tell us our thoughts are weird. Oh my goodness, you're different. We're not allowing that. And if you've allowed it before, it's okay. It's a new day. We're doing something different. We're doing something different. And people are going to have to be okay with it. To be your authentic self, you must be genuine. In other words, no facade. Stop giving people responses that are not really truly your response, but just sounds good. Stop being fake and phony. Yep, I'm finna bring it to you like that. Because maybe ain't nobody told you like that. But like I already told y'all, I'm a mama. And I ain't got no problem telling y'all, I need you to stop being fake and phony. Stop trying to fit in the box. The best way to do that is to be true to yourself. You must cultivate the courage to be imperfect. There's no such thing as perfection. No such thing. There's no such thing as perfection. If you're looking for perfect, I'm sorry. But perfect does not exist. And the one who was perfect has already gone on and died for us and living a life. Still alive today. But outside of him, there's none perfect. Stop pretending. I need you to embrace who you are. The best way to step into the fullness of your authenticity is to embrace your unique qualities. Embrace your beliefs, your convictions, your thoughts, the value you bring, and don't worry about folks who don't get it. Put that in the chat for me, somebody. I ain't worried about nobody. I ain't worried about nobody. Because if you let people will box you in and keep you from your purpose and your destiny. Do you recognize how serious this is? It's that serious. You must first validate yourself before you allow or accept anyone else's validation. If you don't self-validate, the world will define you for you if you don't do it yourself. Don't allow for people to come along and tell you who you are. Know who you are. You're brilliant, amazing, incredible. And if you don't affirm yourself and you're not validating yourself, let's start a new trend today. We're going to start this new year off right. We're going to do it right. And it's going to start with your self-talk and how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you embrace your unique qualities, how you show up as you unapologetically. We're not handing out apologies for being who we are. And I know I said that, but sometimes you got to say things a couple times so it's soaking your spirit, so you get it right here, so that thing marinate. I needed to marinate off in there. I need you to get that. We're embracing ourselves. Somebody put in the chat, I love me. I love me. I love me. And even if you're sitting up there and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure that I do love me. Look, just on GP, borrow my belief. Borrow my belief in this moment. Put it out there in the chat. I love me. This is the start of you embracing your authenticity. In order for you to embrace your authenticity, you must love who you are. And each and every day, make a conscious decision to fall in love with who you are. You can't be seeking the approval and validation of others. It just don't work that way. So today, I'm going to help you to ignite the power that's on the inside of you so that you can become the best version of you. And the way we're going to do that is with the acronym POWER. Somebody say power in the chat. Power out there. Power. Because I don't know about y'all, but I got the power. Hey, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And when you realize you got it, can't nobody take it from you. Can't nobody take it. Repeat after me. P is for purpose. Purpose. In order to ignite the best version of yourself, you have to live in your purpose. And if you're out there and you're saying, I don't know what my purpose is, then it's time for us to go on a journey. It's called self-discovery. What makes you happy? What makes you click? What excites you? What makes you creative? What causes you to be innovative? What's that juice running through you? That thing that when you open your eyes in the morning, you can't wait to get to. What is that? Purpose. One of the ways that I ignite purpose in my life is by serving those who have been stricken by poverty. I wake up each and every day with the hope and the ability to help one person every day. I want to help somebody not be hungry. I'm on a mission to eradicate poverty in our nation. I want not another mother or child to go hungry. And every day I ask myself the question, Arletta, what else can you do? What else can you do? How can you help? How can you serve? And because of that, I become an international voice that represents those who have been stricken by poverty, those who live and are trapped within a poverty mindset. The next thing you're going to want to do in order to ignite the power on the inside of you is to take ownership. Somebody say ownership. Ownership of who you are, ownership of your choices, ownership of your well-being, ownership of all the things concerning you. In other words, you're going to stop putting blame on everybody else for your outcome. This school year, I need you to own it. If you're jumping into conversations that don't build you up, and now you find yourself angry, and now you want to retaliate, you jumping off into stuff you ain't got no business, I need you to take ownership of the fact that you haven't practiced discipline. I need you to own that this year. It's the only way for you to embrace your authenticity. It takes ownership. It takes ownership. The next one is W, and that stands for well-being and work. It's gonna take work. Somebody say work. It's gonna take work. Nothing that is worth it ever comes easy. I'm gonna let you know that right now. If it's not stretching you, it's not making you better. If you sit somewhere being comfortable, it's not making you better. Comfortable is your enemy. If that course ain't stretching you, if that mentor or that instructor is not making you feel some type of way, you ain't growing. And anything that doesn't grow eventually dies. Yep, I'm gonna put it to you just like that, because you know what? It's just that serious. You want to put yourself in cultivating circumstances where you're always growing, you're always being stretched, you're always producing more. And this is the mentality I want you to go into this up and coming school year with. I was created to conquer. Somebody put that out there for me, because that fed my soul when I said it. Come on now, look, listen. I was created to conquer. Let's go. Look, this school year is not about to conquer me. I'm about to tackle it. I'm about to tackle this school year. I'm about to be the very best version of me. They're going to be asking themselves, turning their heads like, who is this? Because you got the power. And then you got that E, you got that energy. You learn to embrace yourself. You learn to embrace who you are. And you're bringing that energy to every conversation, to every classroom, to every interaction. You're bringing that with you. And then lastly, in order to tap into the power to ignite the very best version of you, you're going to need to be resilient. And I know that's a word that you hear all the time. Somebody say resilience. Resilience is simply this: have a strategy, a plan on how to come back, how to bounce back. Because listen, when I tell you, none of us are exempt from life. Life is going to do what life does all the time, and that's life. Life is going to get to life in, and you're not exempt. That means that none of us get out of it. None of us. But you got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy. What's your comeback plan when life happens? How do you plan to get out of it? How do you plan to shake it loose? How do you still plan to land that grade when you got other stuff going on the back end? Some of y'all out there and y'all in relationships and stuff, being grown and stuff already. I ain't gonna get into that. That's the mama side of me, okay? Look, listen, y'all focus on the wrong thing. You out here in these streets talking about a relationship. You need to get your mind back in the books, okay? Because we're talking about your future still. I don't want you sitting up here focusing on the wrong things. Because see, while you're focusing on that relationship, whatever you give your attention to, that is what expands and grows. I need you this year to focus on your future. I need you this year to focus on them books. I need you this year to be caught up in what your future looks like, because it looks amazing from here. And once again, if you don't believe me, borrow my belief until you can believe it for yourself, because I see it. One of the things that's most important about being a village and understanding where you are and who you are is to know that there are resources and supports that are out there You can't do this by yourself. I've said this several times throughout the presentation. You can't do this alone. I'm going to need you to understand that we will always be better together. Somebody say that for me. Better together in the chat. We are better together. It absolutely takes a village. When I was going through my time of being in high school and then off to college, listen, if it wasn't for them daggone guidance counselors and my instructors holding me together, I would not be who I am today. Don't neglect those who are around you that have been assigned to help you to elevate to that next level, to get you to your destiny. Those guidance counselors are there as a resource to serve you. They're there to hear what's going on in life. They're there to protect you, to put you in a situation where you don't have to worry about who's hearing or what's going on, but a person who's unbiased to help you to get it out. Because sometimes all you need is for somebody to listen. I don't know about you, but I struggle with being seen and being heard. And that was one of the key reasons why my authenticity just wasn't doing what it needed to do. Because I felt unseen, felt unheard. And so this year, I want you to do something different. There's those relationships. You got your BFFs. You know what I'm saying? You got them friends that's been riding with you for years. The people that's really tapped into who you are, they know who you are, and they celebrate you. Keep those people close. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're struggling in a subject matter this year, I need you to go ahead and tap into a tutor. Don't let that be your boundary. Look, listen, I remember in college actually struggling in math like hardcore. I thought math was like the end all be all. And the reason why I felt that way is because of the fact that math was just not my strong suit. I mean, it looked like straight up gibberish to me. I was not sure exactly how I was going to overcome college math. But what I did is I went to an educational forum and I got me a tutor, not knowing that a part of my program's outcome, tutors were included. So therefore, while I was in college, I could get me a free tutor to help me to understand the concept of mathematics. And I did just that. You can't be ashamed. My mama used to say a closed mouth don't get fed. Somebody put that in the chat. A closed mouth don't get fed. You got to learn how to speak up and say what it is that you need. I needed help with math. Otherwise, I was going to fail it, period. You know, I passed that class with a 98.6%. So not only did I get help from math, I discovered that I actually like math and I'm actually really good at it. All because I tapped into resources. And that's what mentors, your educators, your instructors, your parents, all these are there to help you to get to that next level. And I'm going to help you get to that next level today. So, in my closing, I'd like you to remember this. I want you to do the absolute best that you can until you know better. But now that you know better, I'm going to need you to do better. Now that you know better, I need you to do better. This up and coming school year, no one is going to do the work for you. No one's going to go through the self-discovery process for you. You have to be willing to do that yourself. You have to be willing to put in the work. And you know why? Because you're worth it. You have always been worth it. Always been worth it. There's a power working on the inside of you that is excellent. You're unique, wonderfully made. And this year, I need you to not hide it. I need you to show up and show out. Why? Not just for you, but for the betterment of those surrounding you. For the betterment of those surrounding you, I need you to show up and show out. Now, today I gave you a little bit of a very small version of who I am. But if you're interested, my QR code is on the screen at this point, and you can absolutely tap into my book that tells you the whole story. When I tell you I gave you bits and pieces, I break that thing down up into my junior high school year of what it was like walking through the hallways, what it was like not feeling like I fit in. But I found my purpose. And once I found my purpose, I took off and I went running with it. The most important thing I want you to know is that I also ended up tapping into a mentor who helped me. One of my instructors told me who I was before I knew who I was. So while you're in these classrooms this year, I want you to remember that those around you are there to help serve you, and they are resources and they are supports to you. They want to see you win. And I want you to get inside the winner's circle this year. Don't take no for an answer. Don't be mediocre. Definitely don't be fake. Tap into who you are, celebrate your authenticity, and be the amazing, brilliant mind you've been created to be. My name is Arletta Allen, and that's absolutely my time. Thank you all so much for having me here.